Do you want to take a little trip to the neighboring town and visit Saza Park sometime?
Saza Park? The one where you can barbecue and it's a huge nature park?
Yeah, the one. It's supposed to be great weather the day after tomorrow. How about it?
My friend Kara invited me, and I said yes right away.
The day after tomorrow is a makeup holiday for preschool, so the park should be pretty empty.
Hey, wait a minute. Isn't that Mrs. Sanders?
Suddenly I heard someone call my name, and I turned around, surprised.
I thought so. You're Amy, right?
The person seemed to recognize me, but I had no idea who they were, so I just stood there blankly.
Oh, sorry, you probably don't remember me. I'm Dan from the sales department at the same company as your husband, Tom. We met at a company dinner once.
Oh, Dan from Tom's company. Yes, I remember now. What a coincidence running into you here. I explained that I was out with friends and the kids because of the preschool holiday.
Are you from around here?
We came from the next town over. Is your daughter Anna doing well? She must be in 5th grade by now, right?
Yeah, wow. Amy, you're brave for taking in someone else's child.
I froze with a smile on my face, not sure what he was talking about.
So is it hard raising a stepchild compared to your own?
I have 2 daughters, Mia, who's in 2nd grade, and Lucy, who's in preschool. Both of them are my biological children. Dan kept talking about a stepchild, but I had no clue what he was referring to. Could he be mistaking Tom for someone else at work?
Hey, what's going on?
Kara came back with the kids, calling out from a few feet away. I wanted to get back to them, but Dan's words were still bothering me. Oh, nothing. Just bumped into someone I know. You guys go ahead and start on the picnic. Kara gave me a big thumbs up in response before heading back.
Well, stepchildren or not, if you love and raise them together, it doesn't make a difference. Tom has always been the decisive type. When he decided to take in Anna, I wondered if both you and his ex were okay with it.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Dan, have you met Tom's ex-wife?
Yeah, a long time ago.
I never heard anything about Tom being married before, and I was completely shocked, but I tried to keep calm so Dan wouldn't notice. That's surprising. I didn't know Tom had been married before.
Mom, come eat. Those sandwiches are really good.
My daughter Lucy came running over, beaming. It was too late to stop Dan from interacting with her.
Hi there, what's your name?
I'm Lucy.
Well, that's a lovely name. Do you like your sister Sarah?
My sister's name is Mia, not Sarah. Who are you?
Dan froze, then looked up at me with a confused expression. I didn't know what to say, so I just smiled awkwardly. The air between us grew thick with awkwardness. I could tell that Dan wanted to leave, while I desperately wanted to know more.
Come on, Mom, let's go back.
Did I say something wrong? I should get going. My family's waiting.
As he started to leave, I called after him. Wait, I'm sorry. I didn't understand anything you were saying earlier. What's this about a stepchild? I was trying to get more information from him. Oh no, I'm sorry. I must have made a mistake. But there's something about what you said that I can't just brush off.
What do you mean?
I didn't know Tom had been married before, let alone had a child. Could you tell me more? Dan hesitated, then apologized.
I'm sorry, but I can't tell you anything more. I shouldn't have said anything in the first place.
I watched as he walked away, regret heavy in the air. I felt lost and confused. I took Lucy's hand and walked back to Kara.
What's up?
Kara leaned in, sensing something was wrong. I couldn't tell her everything, but I was too shaken to pretend nothing had happened. It was someone from Tom's company. He told me something that really shocked me. Kara thought for a moment.
Amy, why don't you head home early? I can watch the kids until later and drop Lucy off for you.
I hesitated.
Seriously, it's fine. Take care of yourself.
Kara gave me a reassuring smile as she packed up the lunchbox and waved me off.
Drive safe.
I was overwhelmed with gratitude. Even on the drive home, I couldn't shake Dan's words. Could Tom really have been married before and had a child named Sarah? If so, where is Sarah now? I sighed deeply. Maybe Dan didn't know everything, and Tom had given custody to his ex-wife. Otherwise, this was like something out of a horror movie. I am a stay-at-home mom, and Tom's salary goes directly into our shared account, which I manage. I handle all our finances, so it's impossible for Tom to be sending money for child support without me knowing. Back home, I couldn't focus on anything. I stared at the family photo on the living room shelf. We had taken it during a trip last year. Tom, the kids, and I, all smiling happily. Looking at Tom's face, I couldn't see any signs of deception or secrets. Could he really be hiding such a huge part of his life? Dropping Lucy off with a smile, Kara brought me back to reality.
You're lucky to have such good friends.
Lucy's bright smile made me grateful for Kara's support.
Feeling a little better?
Yeah, thanks to you, I've had some time to calm down.
You looked really shaken earlier. Whatever it is, don't let it affect the kids too much. If you ever need help, I'm here. We've got each other's backs, right?
Kara's advice was just what I needed. I was lucky to have such a thoughtful friend. Yeah, you're right. I need to act normal around the kids. That evening, I did the usual routine, bathing the kids, helping Mia with her homework, and preparing dinner. Tom came home around the usual time.
Hey, I'm starving.
He loosened his tie and plopped down on the couch. He had no idea I'd learned about his secret. Tom was always laid back and didn't sweat the small stuff, which was one of the reasons I married him. I never sensed any malice or deception from him. He wasn't the type to hide things. If I confronted him, he'd probably be flustered and spill everything, but I didn't have enough information yet. If I confronted him now, he could easily deny it. I didn't want to raise his suspicions, so I decided to keep quiet for now. Should I mention running into Dan? Would Dan tell Tom that we'd spoken? Would it seem strange if I didn't mention it? The kids and I went to Saza Park with Kara today.
Oh, sounds like you had fun. Did Lucy play a lot?
Yeah, I had so much fun, but Mommy went home early.
Why did you leave early?
I wasn't feeling well and didn't want to use the public restrooms. Kara watched Lucy for me.
Are you feeling better now?
Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, and I ran into someone from your company at the park. Dan from sales.
Dan? What did you guys talk about?
He said we'd met at a company dinner, but I didn't really remember. Lucy was tugging at my clothes, so we just said hello and parted ways. Tom seemed relieved, though it could have been my imagination. After dinner, Tom played with the kids and then settled down for his usual evening routine, beer in hand, watching TV. Everything seemed normal, but I couldn't stop looking at him differently. Tears welled up unexpectedly. I rushed to the bathroom, turned on the shower, and cried silently. Even if I'd known about Sarah before we got married, I probably still would have married Tom. What hurt was that he had hidden it for 9 years. Why didn't he tell me? Did he want to protect our family? But what concerned me most was Sarah's whereabouts. If Tom had given her to his ex, that would be a relief. But Dan didn't mention anything like that. Dan seemed to think Tom was raising Sarah. Could that really be the case? Sarah would be around the same age as Mia. Where is she now? I went to bed with a heavy heart, the questions still swirling in my mind. The next morning while doing housework, the landline phone rang. It was rare for that phone to ring, and the caller ID showed it was from Tom's office. Maybe Tom had forgotten his cell phone. I answered it, but it wasn't Tom. It was Dan.
Thank you for your time yesterday. After talking it over with the company, there's some additional information I'd like to share with you. Could you give me your personal cell number?
His tone was professional, probably to avoid being overheard. I was hesitant, but Dan didn't seem like a bad person, so I gave him my number.
Thank you. May I call you in about 10 minutes?
Sure. 10 minutes later, my cell phone rang.
Amy, I'm really sorry about yesterday. Tom just went into a meeting, so I can talk freely now. I need to be quick, though. This morning, Tom asked me what we talked about yesterday. How much did you tell him?
I just said you said hello, and then we parted ways quickly because of the kids.
Good. That's what I told him too. But he's still suspicious of me for even saying hello to you. We need to be careful from now on.
I felt this was my last chance to learn more. Do you have time tomorrow morning? Could we meet at the same park we were at yesterday?
Yes, my wife will meet you there. She can tell you more.
I was surprised Dan's wife was getting involved, but agreed. Thank you. I'll be there. The next day, I arrived at the park and saw Dan's wife waiting for me. We greeted each other and moved to a nearby cafe.
I'm really sorry for the trouble my husband caused you.
Oh no, it's fine. I need to know everything about Tom, please. Dan's wife hesitated, then met my eyes.
My name is Sarah. I'm Tom's ex-wife.
I was stunned. Wait, what? You're Dan's wife and Tom's ex-wife?
Yes, that's right. But Tom doesn't know I'm married to Dan now.
This was too much to take in. Can you explain how that's even possible?
Tom, Dan, and I were all colleagues at the same company. We were part of a small group of 8 who started together. We were even assigned to the same branch office after training. The company's new hire training was intense, and we all lived in dorms for 6 months. We became really close. During that time, I developed feelings for Tom, and we started dating. Dan was dating someone else back then and was happy for us. After the training period, Tom and I moved in together to save on rent, but once we started living together, things quickly fell apart.
Sarah paused, sipping her coffee. What happened?
Tom's friendly, easygoing personality made him popular with women. There was a senior female colleague who took a liking to him. Tom wasn't interested, but I became insanely jealous. It became too much and he broke up with me. But right around that time I found out I was pregnant, so we got married.
And that baby was Anna?
Yes, I was overjoyed, thinking that this would bring Tom back to me. But once Tom's heart had strayed, I couldn't win him back. Our marriage was purely out of obligation. I always suspected him of cheating, even though he wasn't. It broke me mentally. In the end, Tom left, taking baby Anna with him.
Wait, what? He took the baby with him? How could he take her from her mother like that?
I think he believed I wasn't capable of raising her in my mental state, and he might have been right. I was completely lost after he left with Anna. I couldn't work, or even take care of myself. I quit my job and disappeared from his life entirely.
I started to say something, but Sarah cut me off.
A few years later, I ran into Dan, and he told me that Tom had remarried. He even showed me pictures of Anna, saying she was doing well. I hadn't seen her since she was a newborn, so I didn't want to confuse her by reappearing in her life. I just wanted to quietly wish for her happiness from afar. Dan and I both thought Anna was living with Tom. That's why Dan told you what he did.
Sarah bowed her head again in apology. So Tom lied to Dan about Anna, too? I had no idea he was even married before. He's never mentioned anything about a daughter. Where on earth is Anna?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore.
Sarah started to cry and my heart ached for her. How old is she now?
She's 11.
How long have you and Dan been married?
6 months. Dan proposed to me after we reconnected. I had been asking Dan for information about Anna ever since we met again. He was kind enough to ask Tom about her casually during their conversations.
I wanted to know something that had been on my mind. Was it a coincidence that Dan and I met at the park?
Yes, it really was.
I want to believe you, but it's hard to trust anyone at this point. I've been living with Tom for nearly 10 years. If what you say about Anna is true, I want to find out where she is. But I also want to believe that Tom wouldn't hide something like this from me. Tom comes home at the same time every day, spends weekends with the family, and never goes anywhere alone. I don't think he could be hiding another family. When I said this, Sarah started crying again.
I'm sorry.
Sarah handed me a small envelope and stood to leave.
My contact information is in there. If you learn anything about Anna, please call me.
She left the cafe, and I stared at the envelope for a while. Mom, you dropped your rice in your soup. My kids were watching me carefully, worried. I apologized, cleaned up, and tried to focus. I can't stop thinking about this. Tom's going to get suspicious if I don't snap out of it. Hey, how about we go visit Grandma and Grandpa this weekend?
We're going to Grandma's? Yay!
Mia and Lucy's faces lit up, and they stood up on their chairs excited.
Whoa, sit down. Sure, but why so sudden?
A friend from high school wants to catch up, and I thought I could stay at my parents' place. The lie came naturally, but it sparked an idea in my mind.
All right, tell your parents I said hi. I'll just relax at home and have a lazy weekend. Take your time.
The kids rushed to finish their dinner so they could call Grandma. Tom didn't seem bothered at all about us going. I had never doubted his kindness, but now I wondered if that was why he was so eager to let us go. That weekend, I took the kids to my parents' place. After dropping them off, I drove back to a coffee shop near the station. I hated what I was about to do. I was never the kind of person to sneak around, but I couldn't stop now. I opened the envelope Sarah had given me the night before. Inside was her contact information and a single photo. My heart tightened as I looked at it. It was a picture of newborn Anna with Sarah and a younger Tom smiling proudly. I pulled out my phone and checked Tom's GPS location. For hours, there had been no movement, and I began to panic. Would Tom really stay home all day? Just as I thought about moving to another spot, his GPS location started to move. He was on his bike. I quickly paid for my coffee and got back in the car following his signal. Tom was headed in the opposite direction from my parents' house, and I had to rush to keep up. After about 30 minutes, the GPS signal stopped, showing that Tom had arrived at his destination. I parked around the corner and walked toward the location, a secure low-rise apartment building. I couldn't get inside, but I stood outside, unsure of what to do. I didn't have much time. If I didn't leave soon, my parents and the kids would worry. What would Tom do next? Would he leave soon or stay for a while? I decided to call Sarah and update her on the situation. She and Dan arrived about an hour later. Just when we thought we'd have to wait longer, Tom appeared at the entrance. He was walking arm in arm with a tall woman, clearly in a close relationship. I covered my mouth in shock as Dan put a comforting hand on my shoulder. Sarah and I exchanged glances as we both tried to hold back tears.
That woman is Lisa, a former colleague. Tom was seeing her while married to Sarah.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So this relationship has been going on since before we got married?
I don't know, but Lisa left the company a while ago. They could have broken up and gotten back together. I don't see Anna anywhere. Where's Anna?
Sarah looked at them anxiously.
We don't know yet. Let's go talk to them.
Tom! I called out loudly, making him jump. He turned around, startled.
Amy? Dan? Sarah? What is going on? Why are you all together?
That's what I should be asking. What are you doing here? Tom quickly unlinked his arm from Lisa's. Dan was already taking pictures on his phone. Lisa, you've been involved with Tom since he was married to Sarah, haven't you? This has been going on for over 10 years, right?
How do you know all this?
Oh, hey, Amy. Nice to finally meet you. I'm Lisa, Tom's ex-old fling.
Lisa smiled smugly as she introduced herself, and I felt a wave of anger rise in me. Tom's eyes darted nervously between all of us, clearly at a loss. Explain yourself.
This isn't what it looks like, I swear. Where's Anna? Is she inside? Is Lisa raising her?
Tom turned pale at Sarah's questioning. Where is she? Tom swayed on his feet and sat down on a nearby planter. He lowered his head.
She's not here.
Sarah's face contorted in pain.
What do you mean? Where is she then?
Tom's body shook as Sarah grabbed his shoulders, but he remained limp.
All right. If you want to know where Anna is, I'll tell you.
The three of us gasped at Lisa's sudden outburst.
Stop glaring at me. Anna's perfectly fine. I never wanted kids, so I made sure she was taken care of. I placed her in a children's home.
Lisa said it as if it were the most normal thing in the world. You put her in a facility 2 states away? Why didn't you keep her with you?
Lisa told me it was best for her. She said if I wanted to marry you, I couldn't tell you about her.
What? If you wanted to marry me, you should have told me the truth and ended things with Lisa.
But Lisa said she didn't care who I married as long as our thing continued. I was never in love with Lisa. She's just the only one who knew about Anna. I was scared to do it all alone.
Sarah, Dan, and I were speechless at Tom's childish reasoning. I loved how kind and easygoing you were, Tom. I married you because I thought you'd never lie to me or treat someone's life like it didn't matter. I never thought you were capable of such cruelty. People say that even spouses are strangers, and I guess that's true. I believed with all my heart that you were the one for me, but everything we built has crumbled, just like that. If you'd been honest with me from the start, I would have taken Anna in and raised her with you. I wouldn't have cared about your past.
Wait, if that's how you feel, we can do it now. Let's bring her home.
No, Tom. It's too late for that. Anna's been out of your life for 11 years, and she has been heartbroken all this time. You didn't even think about what it meant to take her away from her mother, and then you just discarded her. It's unforgivable.
I'm sorry. Please, Amy, I love you. I love you and the kids. I've always loved you.
Tom grabbed my legs, begging for forgiveness. Let go of me. I pushed him away as he collapsed, sobbing.
Tom, Lisa, neither of you deserves any forgiveness. We will be pursuing this legally, and you'll have to face the consequences of what you've done,
Sarah said firmly before we all left them behind. Dan and Sarah left to meet Anna at the facility. By the time I got back home, it was dark. My mom smiled when I walked in, unaware of what had happened. But after the kids went to bed, I told her everything. My parents were furious and insisted I didn't have to go back to Tom's house. I filed for divorce, and Tom lost his job after Dan explained the situation to their boss. Tom's reputation was destroyed. He now works in a small town as a warehouse worker. DNA tests confirmed that Sarah was Anna's biological mother, and Sarah was reunited with her. When Sarah picked her up from the facility, she didn't recognize her, but seeing her mother's face made her cry. Sarah vowed to never let go of Anna again and promised to pour all her love into raising her. Sarah, Dan, and I have stayed close, and they sometimes watch my kids when I'm at work. Our relationship is complicated, but we managed to build a good friendship. If Dan hadn't mentioned Sarah, I might still be living happily with Tom, unaware of his betrayal. But eventually, the truth would have come out, and everything would have fallen apart. I know Mia and Lucy have been hurt by all of this, but I hope one day they'll understand why I made the decisions I did. For now, I'll keep moving forward, determined to live my best life for them.